Hi, my name is Brandon Severson, and I am half Chinese and half white. I was born in Los Angeles, as with my dad. My mom was born in Hong Kong, and my dad is white and my mom is Chinese. That's a tough question. I would say my racial identity would fluctuate depending on who I'm with. In Los Angeles, I would more identify myself as Chinese, but if I were in China, I would most definitely identify myself as white. I don't feel like I act any differently around white people, but on my one trip to China, I do feel like I didn't quite understand the culture of the people there. One of the main cultural differences I think is they're afraid to speak to a lot of other people in public. Um, at least when I was there, a lot of people were worried about pickpocketers and stuff like that. So if you go around trying to ask for things like the bathroom, a lot of people, might instead of helping you to where they are, kind of just look at you, with a blank face and walk away. That doesn't really happen in the U.S. I wouldn't necessarily say that Asian parents are more strict than white parents. I may say they have higher expectations. I haven't really experienced this in my own life, but definitely have heard stories from other Asian American friends. I'm not really sure actually. In my family, at least, I think the expectations were set very high because my grandfather was a very hardworking man, and he set the bar pretty high. And we've kind of had to follow that bar through the last two generations. I have actually. Um, my girlfriend of a long time's grandmother, when we first met each other, she introduced herself in fake Chinese, and that was rather strange. When someone walks up to you that you've never met before, holds their hand out and starts going like ching chong ching chong, and I guess I was pretty upset about that. Like I said, I was upset, but I kind of just went along with it, introduced myself, said hi, and afterwards I talked to my girlfriend about it, said that that wasn't okay, and it never happened again. And to me, it's water under the bridge. I'll never have to worry about it again. I would say that I have, but it was more in just poking fun. Just the fact that a lot of people of Asian descent can't grow facial hair, as you can see, and I don't think there's any harm in that one. I would say one of the biggest Asian stereotypes is that they are bad drivers. Well, there are a few incidents that I've been a part of that have compounded that stereotype. Um, but for the most part, I think my driving is above average. I would say my heritage and those few incidents have tarnished my reputation as a driver. The first incident happened 6 months after I got my license. I was driving back from a run in the canyons and decided to have a little fun driving. I passed a cop, got pulled over, and had to go to court since I was under 18. The judge decided to suspend my license for a month, and my insurance went through the roof, which led me to not be able to drive for the rest of the year since the payments were too high. The second incident was coincidentally also in the canyons. It was early on a Saturday morning in the middle of summer. I was driving a friend and I to the beach, and my front right tire blew out. 200 feet later, and all spun around. We were safe, but definitely in shock. Um, I didn't hear much about the incident for the first few weeks because it was pretty serious. We almost drove off a cliff. But once the edge of it all went away, I started to hear a few jokes about it, and almost most of them included the fact that I was Asian. Um, I was certain that any newish driver, or I am certain that any newish driver, would end up in that same situation, just because you know you're not prepared for it. You've never experienced it, and it seemed really unfair. But the infrequency of people bringing it up never really let it get to my head. Um, so it wasn't really a big deal in the end. I ended up being the first one among my group of friends to receive a ticket, and I don't think I heard the end of it for the rest of the year, even though the others had crashed and totaled their cars. I believe the Asian stereotype for bad driving is the main reason behind the ridicule, and I unfortunately think the incident only strengthened their take on it. Um, the worst thing about the stereotype, I think, is how hard it's going to be to break. Every incident involving an Asian driver will highlight the fact um, that they are Asian about their race because that stereotype exists. It's going to be something that people will want to read, and because people hear that fact included, the stereotype is then reinforced, only for that cycle to continue.